Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to speak to this take-note debate on mental health this evening. I'll focus my comments on the challenges that our Canadian Armed Forces and RCMP veterans and indirectly their families face with mental health injuries. Our veterans have unique challenges to their mental health that very few civilians face. They embody the emotional and mental toil of having been deployed to many theaters where they or their comrades face peril, injuries, and death, where they participate and witness violence that they cannot and do not want to begin to share with anyone outside of those who've also lived that experience. Many, so many, have experienced mental, physical, sexual abuse from those they thought were their mentors or had their backs no matter what. Many come home with physical and or mental and emotional injuries after serving and struggling to cope. They struggle on a whole other level as they know they are failing in their relationships now with their spouse and their children. Many struggle with trying to fit into a civilian world that from their life experience and perspective they struggle to find their place. And then there's a challenge that is so counterintuitive to me and so disturbing to me. Having served now for 7 years on Veterans Affairs Standing Committee in this place, this is something that grieves my heart and keeps me awake as I think of the added injury sanctuary trauma inflicts on so many of our veterans. Sanctuary trauma is what happens to the spirit and the mind of a veteran when they experience the failure of the government to fulfill its promise to take care of them and their families. The number of veterans who take their own lives is a significantly higher percentage than that of the civilian population. These are the ones who've been failed the most. The recent revelation of a VAC employee pushing a veteran to chew his maid to end his struggles with a brain injury and PTSD shows just how broken our duty to care is. I'll share only one of the instances where the needs of the veterans undervalued because those that make the decisions about their care fail to consult the best sources for the answers to the dilemma of backlogs, the best treatment, how to release, retain, and enlist with dignity. I'm going to give one example of an instance of inflicting sanctuary trauma. An article posted by the Canadian Press on August 7th stated that the federal government's reimbursing a record number of veterans for their medical marijuana. This article prompted VAC to immediately limit when veterans can order their product within their monthly prescription. This caused veterans to suddenly not have any marijuana products for 3 months. This caused a loss of cannabinoid buildup. For 3 weeks, veterans suffered physical pain, lack of sleep, nightmares, and mental anguish. Why? Because Veterans Affairs responded to a news story without any consultation with veterans who have turned to using cannabis rather than pharmaceuticals. Every veteran had to suddenly reconfigure their usage. VAC conducted a snap internal audit, and now, because of another article in September by the same journalist, veterans are going to face harder thresholds to qualify for cannabis, as well as losing certain products that veterans depend upon. To quote one veteran from my riding, he says, "I need dry cannabis, CBD oils, concentrates, topicals, and edibles. I use each product for a specific purpose, and now it'll be taken away." He asks, why? Is it to save money? It can't be about the veteran's health, because they didn't consider consultation with them a priority in their response to what the media reported. He spoke to the difference in quality of life for him and asked why veterans are then being required to use pharmaceuticals. And he said he felt like a zombie under those conditions, and now with his cannabis prescription, his life is so much better. This is something we need to consider and research at VAC and listen to veterans. What is the difference in outcomes? What is the difference in the cost of treatments? The government did reassess their decision, and the ordering period has been changed back to the original format. However, the original decision needs to be evaluated. Who authorized this change to the ordering period, and what did they base their decision on? Whoever it was had no perspective on how they ruined thousands of veterans that day and in subsequent weeks. It sent them into a very deep state of anxiety. The veteran who shared this issue with me is only one of many veterans that have had to face heightened anxiety, depression, and battles within their minds about the value placed on their lives after service. I'll end with a very brief description of his service so that perhaps those who hear will more deeply appreciate his amazing service. In '96, he joined the Canadian Forces, and then after a year of boot camp in the PPCLI Battle School, he was posted to the 2nd Battalion in Manitoba. From '98 to 2004, he deployed to Bosnia, in 2002 to Afghanistan, and was on the first Canadian combat mission since the Korean War. He also deployed to Operation Peregrine, a domestic firefighting mission in BC. In 2005, promoted to Master Corporal, he was posted as an instructor to the Canadian Forces Recruit School in Quebec. In 2008, Upon promotion to sergeant, he was posted to the 1st Battalion in Edmonton, where he deployed to Afghanistan as headquarter commander. Sergeant Perry attended a year-long French language course. Upon promotion to warrant officer, he was posted back to the Canadian Forces. Sorry. Darn it. I cry when people sing. I can't sing to make people cry. He was posted back to the Canadian Forces Leadership School, where he was course commander for the next generation of Army officers. In 2014, he survived a domestic terrorist attack in Saint-Jean-sur-le-Richelieu, Quebec. He was the other person. After that event, he retired in December 2016. Throughout his career, he deployed on countless exercises and training courses. He has earned 3 operational medals, as well as individual recognition, having received the Canadian Forces Decoration, the Sacrifice Medal, and the Governor's General Citation, and currently resides in my riding in Spalding with his wife. And I think this is a man we need to listen to. Thank you.
Questions and comments? Questions et commentaires? The honourable member for Nanaimo Ladysmith.
Thank you. Thank you to the member for her very heartfelt speech tonight. The member, does the member agree that as part of the conversation that we're having this evening around mental health, that it's important that we're looking at the holistic picture around mental illness prevention and investing in the social determinants of health, such as housing, a livable income, healthy, nutritious foods, and if you can offer some thoughts around the importance of wraparound supports for Canadians?
If she can, I would just ask members to address the questions and comments through the chair and not directly to the members. The honourable member for Yorkton Melville.
Well, I do thank the member for the question, and it's absolutely imperative that we create an environment, a culture, a society where the basic needs of people are met. And certainly in this circumstance, all of those things apply. A veteran without a home cannot heal. A veteran with family concerns struggles. It's a known fact that when our veterans deploy, what they eat is not all that great. I went up north and I experienced what are... MRI. Yeah, like they get home, one of the first things they should have is an opportunity to go somewhere where their body gets to heal and they get the food and nutrition and supports that they need. So of course, you know, in the broader sense as well, that's an absolute importance. Thanks.
The honourable member for Caribou Prince George.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my honourable colleague for her passion on this file. Madam Speaker, since we've been elected, she's been one of the loudest voices in terms of standing up for veterans who were prescribed mefloquine and the challenges that they have faced, the mental injuries that they've faced from that drug. Through you, Madam Speaker, I want to ask our honourable colleague, while we're on the topic of our veterans, we know that when our veterans serve, their families do as well. And perhaps we could talk about some of the mental health challenges that the families of veterans face as well. Thank you.
The honourable member for Yorkton Melville.
Oh boy, I really appreciate that question and so appreciate the work that my colleague does on this file. That's one of the things that I think broadens that sense of sanctuary trauma for our veterans. As they come home, they know they're not well, they want to get well, they see what they're doing within their own families, and the spouses and the children suffer greatly, and that just makes it even that much worse for that veteran, realizing, and sometimes I honestly think that's the tipping point for many of them, and so it's absolutely crucial we realize when we send someone into theater, we're sending the whole family. Absolutely. And we need to make sure that they are cared for in ways that they ask us to care for them. 100%.